Hello and welcome to TVP World here. I'm Diana Skaya and we're here at the 8th Political Community Summit in Yerevan, in the capital of Armenia, where leaders from across the continent are meeting to discuss regional stability, security, and the future of Europe. And I'm very happy to welcome my guest, the Secretary General of the Council of Europe, Alain Berset. Alain Berset, thank you so much for being with us here, for taking the time to be with us here on TVP World. Now, in your visit to Yerevan, I want to ask you first, how do you think and assess at the Council of Europe's role in supporting democratic stability, Armenia, and the wider South Caucasus region? And what key points do you make out of the conference?
Well, you know, the main point of the conference is really to have this occasion to meet, to discuss all possible issues, all challenges that the leaders are facing in their own countries, that we are facing for the whole continent. And to do this in a kind of informal way, you know, it's really informal discussions, a lot of small, short contacts and roundtables, a lot of different formats. This is very productive to think, you know, it is kind of brainstorming together as well. And that's the main purpose of the meeting. At the same time, for the three countries of the South Caucasus, for being members of the Council of Europe, that means on equal footing with all 46 members of the Council of Europe, underlines the fact that the South Caucasus is European and also is heading towards a European, European values that we share around the European Convention of Human Rights, and that we are shaping, that we shape this this common legal environment since many years now together.
You just mentioned earlier on challenges.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of the biggest challenges that was discussed here today that comes for all these European leaders?
The strongest element I want to mention in this context is that we are witnessing what we can call a perfect storm, a lot of crises, at the same time, acceleration, also technological acceleration, and this is creating new challenges evolving very rapidly. And that's why to have the legal framework to address the threats, for example, to address foreign interferences and disinformation in a democratic context. What does it mean if you are manipulating information in democratic context, having elections? It is destroying the very conditions you need to have democratic life functioning in a country. This was a very important element. Another that we addressed today was also the fight against drugs, against different elements that are threatening the population in Europe.
What about, of course, let's be honest, with the imminent threat of Russia, not only on European security, right? I mean, listen, in Poland, we've had Russian drones already spotted a few months ago, and let's not forget about Armenia having been under the Russian sphere of influence for decades.
Yeah, not only Armenia, by the way.
Many countries in the South Caucasus,
yes,
right?
Yes, and I think that now we have witnessed since 30 years a strong development around European values. I was mentioning the Council of Europe. It is the organization I have the privilege to belong and to work in. And the Council of Europe has now 46 member states, but it was 20, it was 25, and then 30, and now 46, because it was expanding that much, really around those shared values, democracy, the support for the rule of law and human rights. You mentioned Russia. We exactly see what it means to have this, instability and threats against the values that we have in Europe. Then we had aggression from Russia, the invasion of Crimea, 2014. It's not new, 12 years. And then since more than 4 years now, the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. That means what? It means a war, really a brutal war in the middle of European continent. And addressing this, the reaction must be clearly to be stronger united for, defense, to invest in those elements, but as well to know and to always have in mind that a strong army without strong institutions and strong democracies to control the power is also a danger for all of us. That's why what we need to know now, to do now, to address this challenge, is to invest in what we call democratic security. It is a comprehensive approach on security based on solid and strong institutions. It means, free and fair elections. It means independent courts. It means free and diversity in the media. It means all those elements, because it is the only way to have stability in the long term, and also strong democratic control on force.
What do you think about, of course, how, again, you mentioned Russia, you mentioned all these things, but what about a broader European security architecture? And do you think that it is being threatened now, with particularly the U.S. administration now saying that he wants to to withdraw U.S. troops?
What we see with quite aggressive Russia, instability and war in the Middle East and Iran, shaky relation, Euro-Atlantic relation, and all those things is sending a clear message. We should look for ourselves, be united, but being able to organize ourselves in the European territory. I was mentioning the wide European family, 46 member states. We have the European Union, 27. We have 19 members in the European family, not member of the EU, but member of the Council of Europe. And to have this common legal space that was shaped by the Council of Europe during the last 70 years is really a strong asset to develop answers together to all those threats. And at the same time, we need also to think in this comprehensive approach, holistic approach on security, clearly about military security, armament, but at the same time strong and stable institutions. That's the best answer that we can bring, to do this together and being able, united, to do this without to count or to need the support from others for our own security.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Earlier on at the summit, you said Armenia's democratic institutions are functioning and have made real progress, but they are under pressure.
Yes.
Do tell us more. Why do you feel that?
You mentioned this before. Armenia was 30 or 40 years ago in a totally different situation as today, and
it's moved closer to the West.
Made a lot, exactly, right? Made a lot of progress. Joining the European family of values, and then the Council of Europe, and then progressing, but now, in the world we are witnessing right now, it's not more the time, just for more convergence, for more democracy, rule of law, and a good protection for human rights. Now we see divergent forces in action, quite brutal ones, bringing a stress test for our democracies. And we can feel this particularly strongly here in the South Caucasus. For the reason I was mentioning before, this region is extremely important for the stability and peace and security of Europe. At the same time, it is a kind of triangle. One side is Russia, quite aggressive. The second side is Iran and war. And the third side is Turkey, Council of Europe, and the European values. And it is a place where those influences are coming together, and that's why it's so important to be here, to work with the three countries of the South Caucasus, today particularly with Armenia, with the presence of the EPC here.
And finally, just a very quick question to sum this up here. Also, a significant statement that came out of President Zelensky was about EU accession, right? What can you tell me a few words about that?
Before to speak about EU accession, I think the first element is to see that the war in Ukraine should stop, that this is a brutal and aggressive war with a lot of suffering and death, and we are working with the Council of Europe for accountability, with the European Court on Human Rights, the only international court addressing violation of human rights in the case of the conflict in Ukraine, with second pillar, the Register of Damage and Claims Commission, and the Special Tribunal. And then we are working with Ukraine for this convergence, but then clearly it's not the role of the Council of Europe, it's not my role to say how it will happen. It will be a discussion between Brussels, the European Union, and Ukraine. But this convergence, it's not 1 or 0. It's not being part or not of the European Union. It is possible to converge and to make some progress and to develop the life together in any case. And that we are doing that exactly now.
Thank you so much, Monsieur Alain Berset, the Secretary General of the Council of Europe, for being our guest here in Yerevan for TVP World.
Thank you.
And that's all here for now. I'm Diana Skaya. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.